Should you rent or should you buy your wedding suit? That is the question. And if you're watching this very specific video, you're probably asking yourself that exact question. And in today's video, we're gonna go through 8 different things to help you hopefully plinko your way into a correct decision by the end of this video. And of course, a huge shout out to our friends over at Generation Tux for sponsoring this week's video. So without further ado, let's jump right on into it. Number 1, cost. This one's pretty obvious. Rental suits typically are quite a bit cheaper than purchasing a suit. For example, our friends over at Generation Tux have rentals starting about $138 for jacket and pants, and purchase price for jacket and pants starts at about $298. So if budget or cost is at the uppermost of your concerns, you're going to want to err on the side of rentals in general. This is also a lot more affordable for your wedding party. We've seen some crazy Reddit stories here on this channel of wedding party members who've been asked to spend like $600 on a custom suit for someone's wedding day. And if I recall correctly, that, among a few other things, made the groomsmen drop out of the event entirely. If you want to keep finances in mind, obviously, both for yourself and your wedding party, you're going to want to keep that at the forefront of your thinking. In addition to the actual purchase price of the suit, you're probably going to spend some money on alterations, which obviously you're going to want to do to get that tailored look for your wedding day. And while some alterations are cheap, like $20, they can be as high as $150 or more, depending on what you're having done to the suit. Which segues perfectly into line item thought process number 2. It's a working title, and that is fit/customization. If you're going with a rental suit, obviously you can't take that bad boy out to a tailor or seamstress or whomever to do a bunch of alterations on it. The beautiful part about Generation Tux is they have this algorithm where you don't even have to know your measurements and you could just put in your body information, and they have over 90% accuracy on the fit rate. Plus, they can do a handful of minor alterations to, I think, the sleeve length and the pant length and a couple other things like that. So you're going to get yourself a good looking suit out of that deal. In fact, everyone else in your wedding party is going to get a good looking suit out of that deal. You also can be a little bit more limited on the customization of the suit in general, although I will say, obviously, Generation Tux with hundreds of accessories. I don't know if you saw my showroom walkthrough with them. Hi, by the way, my name's Jamie Wolfer. I'm your online wedding planner. I make wedding planning videos. You should subscribe. Where I got to see all the accessories in person. I mean, so many ties, so many pocket squares, bow ties, any color that you could imagine, they probably have an option for. So all of my branding girlies out there with hex codes and wanting to make sure everything matches, let me tell you, they probably got it. But you can't literally do any sort of customization to the suit itself. Accessorize, absolutely. Customization, not so much. When you purchase a suit, yes, of course, you're going to spend a little bit more. You're going to spend some on alterations, but then you're going to be snatched. And yes, we can say that about you wearing a suit. You could be snatched as well. It's going to be great. That way you can do little custom details. You can sew a handkerchief into the lining of the jacket. Have you seen people do that? Where they like sew little pieces of fabric into the lining of the jacket or the dress? So stinking cute. You can't really do that in a rental. That's kind of frowned upon. You're not supposed to do that, but you can do that in your own suit. And of course, in both categories of rental and purchase, Generation Tux has, I don't know, 15, 18. I tried counting. They have so many different suit options to make sure you're really getting the best look for you. But if you want to go above and beyond and really customize your suit, obviously you're going to need to purchase that bad boy. Number 3, let's talk about convenience. Because we know there's that one person in the wedding party that you're going to have to chase, like physically and mentally chase around for the next 3 months, right? You just know there's that one person. And so when we're talking about the difference between renting and buying, renting is so much less administrative work for the wedding couple. Like, so just the amount of times I hear brides be like, I don't even know if the groomsmen are going to have suits for the wedding day. I don't know. Because I can't even get them to go get fitted. I can't make that happen. So we might just have a bunch of people on my side and no one on the other side. So yay for us. Because the benefit of purchasing means you get to do that customization, means you get to have that snatch fit, but also means there's a lot more work that goes into it. It's less convenient. You're going to the tailor multiple times. You're double checking fit on things. It takes more face time. It means you have to get in your car, drive somewhere, get all that done. And when you're doing that with an entire wedding party, that can be a lot more time consuming and a lot more for you as the wedding couple to handle. Rentals, specifically with Generation Tux, because that sneaky little algorithm we talked about earlier, they don't go in anywhere. There is no going in somewhere to get fitted for a suit. They simply go through the algorithm and it puts together the perfect suit for them. It's also pretty much a no-brainer because all you have to do is put the suit and accessories into the packaging and send it right on back. You got 3 days to do that. You can do it from anywhere. You don't have to drop it off in a store. You literally just drop it in the mail and you're done with it and you never have to think about it again. Whereas with the purchase suit, you're probably going to have that dry cleaned afterwards and then figure out storing that, which in the grand scheme of things is not a really complicated thing to do, right? You just drop it off the dry cleaners and then hang it up, right? It's not a lot, but it's just one more errand you have to run. So yay, we got a suit that fits you fantastically that you get to keep forever, but like, does anyone actually go to the dry cleaners anymore? I don't think I've ever been in my adult life to a dry cleaner. I don't know what that says about me, but let me know if you go. Any hoodles, next point. This next one's really self-explanatory. Long-term investment in use, right? You spend less, you have less investment, you get less use out of it. You spend more, you have a higher investment, you get more use out of it. You following me? Okay, but it deserved its own little note here in the whole sphere of things, so you can kind of wave back and forth between the options, which leads perfectly into the next point, which is emotional value. Yes, spending more money on a suit up front might be like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, but you get more use out of it. And the sentimental value of having your wedding suit later, let me tell you, with my husband, he absolutely loves wearing his wedding suit. He loves having the opportunity to put it back on again and be like, oh, this is a suit from our wedding. And if you haven't met my husband through any of the various videos I've had him here on this channel, he's not a suit and tie kind of guy. No, he's a construction project manager. So he may work in an office, but he's multiple pair of steel toe boots. That's the kind of dude that we're working with. But the sentimental value that he has attached to his wedding suit is so endearing, and I'm really glad that we made that investment, even though it felt like so much to us early on in our marriage to spend that kind of money on buying a suit. We are continuing to reap the rewards and have that sentimental value all these years later. And honestly, it's really sweet to think that one day my son might wear that suit too. Like, I get sappy over this kind of stuff. Like, I saved my wedding. I haven't cleaned my wedding dress. You guys? We've been married a long time, and I did not clean my wedding dress. Like I said, I don't go to dry cleaners, so probably should get that figured out. So if one of my daughters wants to wear my wedding dress one day, well, good luck. Hope you have some Folex, right? And a toothbrush, because it's going to need some cleaning. But if my son was to wear my husband's wedding suit one day, shut up. Shut up. That's one of the cutest things I've ever heard in my life. Oh, I hope he has a chance to wear it. That's so cute. The flip side of that, though, is, you know what? I don't want to commit to a suit. I don't know if I want to have this navy suit for the rest of my life, but I know that my fiance wants me to wear that at the wedding. So guess what? We're just going to rent this bad boy, and then maybe later on down the line, I will purchase a suit. Or maybe you're like, you know what? I'm not a suit person, so I'm not going to make that big investment. I don't have an emotional attachment to it, and instead, I'm going to choose to rent, so that way I can look appropriate for the event and never have to worry about that bad boy again. Now, some people might want to argue the next point, which is environmental impact. I see positives for both of these. Obviously, if you're renting a suit, it gets to be reused over and over and over again until it's no longer usable. If you purchase a suit, yes, there may be a higher impact on that one initially, but if you wear it multiple times, you get your money's worth out of it by not renting suits over and over and over again when you already have one there at home. We got suits at home. Guys, we don't need stuff for suits. We got some at home. Line item, thought process. Point number 7 is returns or exchanges. We've basically touched on this a couple times throughout the video, but again, I feel like it deserves its own line item thought process, plinko moment. If you are feeling decisive, you know the suit you want, you can purchase it, you feel confident in that decision, great. If you don't, you need the ability to send it back afterwards. When you are working with a suit rental timeline, it is recommended that you put that order in about 4 months beforehand. I know some of you are thinking, there's no way my wedding party's gonna do that. And you might be right. You might have a couple of those that really are not gonna make that window at all. But you're much more locked into a time frame of needing to get that information, of needing to place those orders. When you purchase a suit, especially with Generation Tux, once you hit purchase, it's at your door within 3 to 7 days. And then it's yours. And then you can take your time with alterations. And then the only schedule you have to worry about is with your tailor or whomever is performing those alterations. With a suit rental, the wedding couple actually gets something called a free home try-on. So if you're worried about fit or anything like that, you do have an option of getting a suit sent to you to try on, and then you return it back. And then your rental arrives 14 days before the actual event, which is brilliant in my opinion. The amount of people that travel for weddings and can't go to a brick and mortar and pick up a suit, wear it to the wedding, and then return it the following day afterwards. That style of suit rental has increased level of administrative work, mental load, stuff surrounding it. Whereas with Generation Tux, having it shipped to you, you can then travel with it if you need to, because you get it 2 weeks in advance, and then just pop it back in the mail wherever you are at afterwards. But that doesn't mean that you have months and months and months of access to the suit. You can try it on early, you get it a couple weeks ahead of time to make sure you have a good fit. Any swaps can be made. Customer service is fantastic, so you have that as an option. But you don't have months with your suit like you do when you're purchasing one. And last but not least is arrival time, which is what I just covered. But I already said 8 points at the beginning of this video. So Those two just kind of rolled into one. So tell me what you are doing for your wedding day. Are you renting? Are you buying? I see beautiful merits to both of them. Maybe if you have a large wedding party and you're trying to be cost conscious, renting would be the option for you. Or maybe you're a highly sentimental person like I am, just a little bit. And so you feel like the thought of your son and your grandson and great grandson one day wearing this one specific suit, purchasing might be the option for you. Regardless of whatever you choose though, Generation Tux is the spot to get your suit for your wedding day. We've been working with them for years now. I have toured their warehouse. I've toured their showroom. I have worked closely with this company for so many years. And let me tell you, every single one of my husband's friends that have gotten married, he's recommended Generation Tux to them because he has loved his suit rental experience with them so very much because all the others pale in comparison. So that's all we have for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching Generation Tux. Thank you for sponsoring this video. If you haven't done so already, jump on down there, like the button, and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride. And until next week, bye guys.